Sabi, go ahead.
Okay. So, hello everyone. This is Savig again. So, today we have another a very amazing speaker with us, Ms. Taposhree Baruah. Taposhree Baruah is the director of Taposhree Welfare Foundation, founder and president of Ray Foundation, global youth ambassador of Their World, which is a UK-based charity organization, founder of Gyanaloy, a modern-day Gurukul, internationally recognized best-selling author, India and Asia book titled Grandmaster, and she's actually right now pursuing her higher education at the prestigious University of Manchester as a global future scholar and many more. So, ma'am, it's a great pleasure to have you on board on this particular session of ours. And we are really looking forward to learn a lot from you. And so today we will be focusing our session around the topic called action taker that's sustainable. So what it takes to be an action taker, what it takes to, to bring a change in a society. So, ma'am, we would like to know more about your work, what you are trying to achieve, what you are trying to do. So, ma'am, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Sadiq, so much for that lovely introduction. So basically, hi everyone who is here. My name is Taposhree Baruah. I am from the city, lovely city, Guwahati, based in Assam. Currently, however, I'm in UK. So that doesn't mean that I'm far away from my motherland. It just means my mother is within me every single moment with me. So, yes, I started off my journey working in the field of social services in the year 2019. Prior to that as well, I was involved in one or the other thing, but not in a proper structured way. It was 2019 that sparked me off along with my few fellow mates that, okay, let's just do something. We are complaining a lot. Let's just go about and do something now. And we started off with that journey. It went off beautifully. And that inspired me so much. It ignited my passion within me so much that I started venturing into larger space. And as rightly said by you, I am the director of a company named Taposhree Welfare Foundation. Very newly found company it is, where our main motive is to work in the field of social entrepreneurship, actually motivate the youth to come up with ideas that we are ready to support and take it into a larger sphere. And that is the all motive that I have as of now. And I'm awaiting for the future to be more beautiful enough so that we all can work together as a team and work on the issues that really matter, voice it for the people who really matter, for every single soul needs to be heard of by everybody. And my motive has always been not to become somebody else's voice, but to empower them enough so that they can become their own voice. That's how I go about with it.
Absolutely, ma'am. That's a very beautiful thing to be keep in mind while going forward towards a better future. Because this is a world where not one person, it's a world of 7 billion people, and everyone has to understand the significance of it. So, ma'am, now I would like to ask you about, the reality is often really overwhelming and disheartening in most cases, especially when it comes to the changing environment and climate threats. So, how do we cope up with it to build a mindset that works, to work towards it rather than being a climate anxious?
Hmm. This is actually a good question.
Yeah,
This is a question that I believe as an individual, we must ask ourselves that what can be done?
yeah,
As I told you just right now, that it was in 2019 that me and with my fellow mates, we decided, okay, let's do something. What can be done? So everything starts with this very question. And I am really glad that you have started the whole session asking this question first. So from my side, if I have to approach this very question that you have asked, that what can we do from our end? First, you need to go out and accept the truth of the reality. You cannot be in a phase you say that, no, maybe that is not happening. You need to accept it. It is happening. Once you accept the truth of the reality, it's highly needed that you build an realization within yourself that, okay, the intensity is high. Once the realization comes from within you, eventually you are going to ask a number of other questions. The pop ups will be there. Okay, if it is the problem, what can be done? Again, what can be done?
Yeah.
Then what you need to do is go at your individual level, see around yourself. What problems do you see? You might have a roof, but there might be somebody. There are many people who don't have a roof. Find that problem, find, brainstorm, think about the solution. The best way to approach anything is not to complain about something that is there creating a trouble, but to think of the solution via which you can curtail that. And that should be the mindset. Simple. Be an action taker. Action taker who has that mindset of, okay, I can think of something. No matter how big or small, an idea is worth going to be there in the reality and bringing in a solution for the problems that you see. So for me, without being anxious, you should approach the problem, face the problem, look at it, go to the root of it, find the solution for it, and then you will see what impact you are bringing. No matter how big or small, impacts are impacts.
Absolutely, ma'am. That's actually the way it needs to be looked upon, rather being looking it into a way of just a problem. We need to look at it by a more positive outlook. Only then we can, find solutions to that. So, another question that comes to my mind is that what's a definition of a change taker or a person according to your perspective? The What is the definition of a change taker?
Actually, recently I was writing something. While writing it, I thought to myself, because there was a social purpose linked to that very writing. So I thought to myself that whenever we do something, there is always a way to do something for others as well.
Yep.
So for me, a change maker is that somebody who has this very thought in themselves that no matter what they do, it might be for them own self, it can be. We are rational beings. We will think about ourselves first, and that is all okay. You must. But in that thinking for yourself, when you think about how can I make it bigger? How can I involve everyone in?
Yeah.
That's when you become a change maker. And that can start inside your home as well. Your mother, our mothers, simply when they cook food, they cook it not just for themselves, they cook it for the whole family.
Yeah.
She is a change maker. She builds that habit that you must be there for everyone else who is there around you.
Yeah.
That's how you should go. For me, that person is a change maker.
Absolutely, that's so beautifully put together. Like how mother often, often it happens specifically, when it comes to Indian household, we just tend to forget our mom's contribution towards everyone's life. Very beautifully put. So, another thing is that today's youth is really powerful. At the same time, has the access to internet, has the access to several means uh, by which they could actually promote various ideas. So, how to transform that rebellious nature into a pro-social mindset with a will to work?
Uh, there are two words that caught my attention in this very question actually: pro social behavior and
Yeah.
rebellious mindset. I'll go with pro social behavior first. So, what is being pro social? What is it? It is simply about doing something for others, but it is also about doing something for others while you are doing something for yourself at the same time.
Yeah.
Even when you walk on the streets, when you see somebody hungry, you just give a pack of biscuit to that person. Once giving, you are done. You gave the biscuit, it's all done. You had an extra biscuit with you, you gave it, and you are done with it. But the satisfaction that you feel within, the happiness that comes with it, it's serving you as well. And at the same time, it's serving the other person as well. For me, that is pro-social behavior, serving the self while serving the others. Now, coming down to the other term, rebellious mindset. I like this word. Yes, rebellious. Now, we all know there are sides to everything, two sides to everything. Now, this rebellious mindset can be directed in two sides as well. A mindset where you're rebellious enough and you go out and there and you question and you say they're not doing enough.
Yeah.
Then there is another direction of this rebellious mindset who can go in that pathway and they can actually say, or they actually ask what I should be doing enough.
Yeah. Agree.
Sides of this very mindset. Now, if we bring these two sides together, one that holds others accountable, and at the same time, the one that holds your own self accountable.
Yeah.
Don't you think that will be very much impactful? Actually, thank you for this question. It just made me come up with this. And I really felt interesting that if we both bring both the sides together, we can create such a big impact. And that's when we create a community that is driven to bring about a change that is balanced from both the sides. And that's how a rebellious mindset should work. And that is something I believe in, balancing both the sides.
Exactly. I very nicely put again that we often tend to have a kind of a biasness that we tend to forget, and it's very important to self reflect at the same time, acknowledge those biases and work upon them together. It will, as you said, as you mentioned, it's like creating a balance between both. That's the right way to go forward with. Uh, so yeah, next, what is exactly social entrepreneurship, and how can the youth take up their own entrepreneurial journey to work on various issues, especially aiming environment and sustainability? Because right now at present, the word sustainability and environment are the buzzword, both be it in technology, be it in the normal, periphery everywhere. So
Hmm. Social entrepreneurship. I attended one meeting once, and a dignitary there said that entrepreneurship is the future. When that was cited to me, when I heard it, I actually pondered on it. Like, okay, is it the future? Like, are people really going to take up to this spare of working so much? And eventually, while trying to make sense out of it, I understood that yes, I guess it's not just the future, it is also the today. Every single moment an idea generates that has the capacity to impact the larger sphere,
yeah.
and you make that idea work in the sphere of business, that's become social entrepreneurship. There are so many remarkable social entrepreneurs in India who can inspire each one of us. There's one Teach for India
Yeah.
run by a beautiful lady that is so inspiring. There are so many other social entrepreneurs, socialpreneurs doing their best. So, what is social entrepreneurship? Is nothing. The word says it itself. A business sphere, but a sphere where you are giving your best, where you are looking after yourself. As I already mentioned, we
Yeah.
are beings. We have to sustain ourselves as well. You are looking for yourself, but then again, thinking what can be done bigger, including more people into that. That's entrepreneurship, but social, impacting the social cause.
Mm.
And coming down to the next question about how youth can take up such journeys.
Yeah.
I believe the best way to take up any journey is to have the idea of the journey.
Mm.
Ignite yourself with an idea strong enough that it makes you feel so passionate that you wake up every single morning thinking that how can I make it happen? Dr. Kalam Sahab beautifully said that see a dream that doesn't allow you to sleep, but actually makes you stay awake. Exactly. See an idea that makes you that I must be awake. I need to work it out. I need to have the plan with me and take up the journey because that journey is going to make you learn so much because that is something you are taking up from your own interests. Recently, a professor was giving a lecture, and the professor basically his lecture was a, an introductory session with the new students into the university. And the lecturer beautifully said that, I believe you are taking up a stream. I believe you are taking up a job or you are taking up anything in your life from your own interests. Because when you are old enough, when you have nobody around, maybe that can be a thing. And you don't feel motivated enough, you have a reason to wake up every morning. You are motivated enough by your passion.
Yeah.
And maybe coming up with an idea of such can help the youth to ignite their passion. And how can they get this idea? The best way is to explore. Look at the options around you. Be inspired by the people around you. They are there inspiring you. My life's very first essay that was nationally published in a general knowledge magazine was inspired by a lady who came to our house to work.
That's interesting.
Yes. What inspired me? My topic was knowledge is power.
Mhm.
And that lady inspired me with her knowledge that she displayed every single day while working in my house. And I must say, she was 65 years old, a lady who never went to school, but was there inspiring me enough. So, my point is, there are people everywhere who holds the capacity to inspire you. Find that inspiration. If you don't find nobody around you, find the inspiration within you. You
Yeah.
never know what inspiring you are inspiring others to do. Find that. Once you find it, you get the idea what you want to do. Get on that idea, work for it, go on that journey, take the risk, dare to do it, and you will see how beautiful it is. And that's how you need to start off with the journey. It's very exciting that how you must should take it. And that's all that you need to take, the idea.
Yeah. So, talking about ideas, so the thing is, how can we actually? There are a lot of people I have seen, even personally, even I myself talk about environment crisis. We talk about different crises that are connected towards the environment, but I'm not being able to come up with a particular idea that surrounds around sustainability. So for people like us, people like me, how can we navigate through all those information that we see on internet? Because there's abundance of information, but the way to filter it, there's a very narrow scope out there. So how can we navigate through all those information and come up with ideas that is sustainable and and bring towards the mainstream goal, which is a very structured way.
Actually, very good question. The availability of so much tends to create a lot of confusion sometimes that which should which way should I go for, which is the right way.
Yeah,
And the availability also brings in so many ideas as well at the same time. This is something I also face. Sometimes there is an issue. I come to know about it. So many ideas come. But then I think which one to go for?
yeah,
The best way to approach this is to prioritize your field of working. Once you know that this is the area I want to work my whole heart with, try to find the people who are working in that field. And the moment you do that, you will end up finding the right source. Another pointer that I like to mention here is that we must know no person is inaccessible.
Yeah.
We are human beings, we can access everybody. And you will be surprised that who you can access and with whom you can have a conversation the very next moment. You were just thinking that, okay, oh, that person is there in the screen. But who knows? You might be sitting with that person the very next moment and talking about an idea you thought was very trivial enough, but oh no, it was not. It had the capacity to move somebody enough that they call you, they talk with you. You also mentioned that how the youth, they want to make an impact. My approach to this is always start from your surroundings. Slowly and eventually, if you are capable to sustain it, you will see the sustainability of your idea, and that will lead you to the bigger space into the world. You don't need to start big. It's okay. If you can go for it, it can be big enough. I myself, I thrive to go for big topics and work on it. And I love that as well. But always start from the surroundings. Find the root of your own surroundings. Work on it. Be in touch with it. Motivate yourself to work on it. Then go for the bigger spares. And as I already mentioned, nothing in this world is inaccessible. If you put your mindset to it, you can access it. And people have done that. People have really done that. Just dwell more deeper into what you want to go for. Find your area of working that inspires you, that motivates you. You have to sort that out at your level and then go out and about in the world. And if you don't find nobody, and if you find that my space hasn't been explored, no worries. Create your own space of working and go for it. Chipko movement started. The word Chipko would not have come if, the ladies would not have hugged the trees. They hugged the trees, but that was not done prior to that. They had no idea that if anybody in the world prior to them have done it, they felt right. They felt that they are our trees. We have to sustain ourselves. We have to go for it. And they hugged the trees because they felt the connection with it. Feel connected to whatever you are working. And when you feel connected, you are going to give your best. And when you give your best, you are going to come up with an idea that you will try your best to sustain over time. So that is how you should go. And Chipko movement actually, when we are talking about environment, when we are talking about sustainability, something that happened way back, but still inspires. Youth of today are ready to go and do the same if they want, if they feel like. I did a project on this. I got to know that so many have repeated the same act so many times. That inspired somebody that if you're connected to something, you're going to give your 101. And sustainability is about being consistent, is about being there as a line and going with that and not just disappearing somewhere. And the history can teach us a lot. So we should dwell into the history as well and learn where the mistakes were made and learn where we can improve and go about in the forward direction. So it's all coming down to sustainability, environment, then first connecting yourself with the cause, finding the problem, finding your passion, which problem you want to work on, and then going about with it with the idea that is sustainable enough, that is long running. And for that, you need to be persistent as well. You have to be working for it as well. So yes, these are the key things I believe we can work upon and go ahead.
So, talking about idea, the how can a person could convince that their idea is worthy of being implemented, or how can he or she be sure to be consistent with their ideology throughout their entrepreneurial journey. Because we have seen a lot of people, they tend to start as a social entrepreneur, but at the later half, they transfer or transform to become a company and forgets their uh, idols or the main purpose of that organization that started in the long run. So how can we be consistent at the same time? Uh, uh, you know, when how can we be more encouraged, or like this idea could be actually be implemented? So there are two questions actually. Both of them mingle together. So yeah.
Actually, losing the track, I would say losing the track, though, that is kind of strong. But yes, somewhat, the lines getting blurred. And I feel the best way to approach this, if it ever happens, is that keeping yourself very clear with what you want. When you start your journey, as I already mentioned, we are rational beings. We are going to think about ourselves. And entrepreneurship is also business. It is. It is a sphere of business, social business, where we bring in the aspect of society, where we try our best to do a collective good. While doing this, your plan from the beginning, you need to be clear with yourself that what you want out of this journey. As you go ahead with the journey, as you see your booming peak, as you're peaking, you're doing great. You also must not lose your connection with your roots. It's important that we do not forget from where we come. It is important that we do not forget why we started what we started. Now, how to keep that mindset? Even in the sphere that you are working, diversify the sphere. You took one issue, maybe you are booming a lot in that very topic and you are doing your best. Don't stop yourself. I always believe that we must be kids. We should keep on inspiring ourselves every single time we see something, fill ourselves with passion every single time we think that we have an idea. Go for that idea. Again, start afresh. Keep yourself as a learner.
Yeah.
When you keep learning, you will keep on getting ideas specific to your field. And I believe a true entrepreneur, a socialpreneur, will never lose their track if that's in them in the truest sense possible. If
Yeah.
you love to work for others, that never goes out. It stays with you because it brings a smile on your very face. So you'll never want to lose that smile. Nobody loves losing their smiles. So you will work your best. My thing is that you diversify, you explore, so that you also know that you're not stagnant. If you're getting success in one hand, work your up, work up, and try to get the same success on the other hand that is doing good to others as well. So diversify your field as you are moving forward in the journey of being an entrepreneur. When it is stable enough, however, only then diversify, look for options that can inspire you more and more.
Yeah.
And maybe when you do such, your very idea with which you started, it's very simple. Helping a cause will be there with you. And staying connected with your cause is very important. Don't lose the connection. The moment you do, you tend to be blurred out. You don't know what is going on in the ground level. You don't know what is happening. So you must keep in touch so you know what is happening and you can do your best to keep that up always. So, yes, I guess keeping your options open, keeping yourself flexible enough, never letting yourself, you know, be disconnected, but stay connected. That is important.
Yeah. uh, Very, again, very rightfully put, because sometimes even I face the same problem, being constantly diverted from the topic and forgetting our roots. It's very important to remember our roots. Uh, so, there's a kind of a conception that I feel like, which is quite revolving around social entrepreneur, is that mostly the ideas of social entrepreneurship is tries to solve the problems which is very urban rather than, which is in rural areas. So how can we actually reduce the gap between the urban and rural areas and try to come up with those social entrepreneurial idea that could benefit the whole society as a whole?
Hmm. For this, again, I'll bring in the topic of being connected.
Yeah,
You can't solve a problem if you haven't been in, I won't say you need to experience it, but you need to have somewhat of sense of it to feel connected to the problem. If you are in an urban area and you are thinking of a rural area, but you have never been to that part, how can you come up with a solution?
yeah,
So,
agreed.
the best way to merge the areas is to go to both the areas, find the commonalities. If there is any commonality, take that commonality, work around it, up the idea that you can implement and see what can be done.
Yeah,
Because these are two different areas that we are talking about. But at the same time, we must remember both the areas consist of human beings, of
absolutely.
souls, if I have to be more flexible enough, living, breathing souls. So both the sides will have same commonality of having living, breathing souls in them. So that commonality we already have. And as humans, what do we share? That is very common. That is so common. That is Mother Nature, environment. Maybe the first step as youth, as maybe even somebody if they are in school, first step that they can do is work in the field of environment.
Yeah,
Get yourself connected with Mother Nature. You need to sense that she is living and breathing. There is a reason why we call Mother Earth Mother. You need to feel connected. Start from the roots. Start with the common aspect that all parts of the world shares, environment. Come up with an environmental idea that is sustainable,
yeah.
bringing in the concept of sustainable development.
Wow, I'm just getting too overwhelmed with all those positive energy and positive ideas because when we talked about, specifically in Indian households, when we talk about entrepreneur, business ideas and talk all these kinds of things, it becomes really demotivating at times by our family members, friends, and many others. So for them, what kind of a message do you have? Like I've known a lot of people who actually wants to start a particular, their entrepreneur journey, but they are being held back by their society or their parents or their friends. So, any message to them?
There can be so many around you who can hold you back. But the question that you need to ask is, am I holding myself back as well? If I am, what is that aspect that is making me hold myself back? There can be multiple reasons. Reasons very valid. Now, coming down to another question that you must ask, I think we must ask, if there are so many reasons, is it worth it that I go for the idea that I have? Is it worth it for this very one lifetime? If that person is me, I'll say, I guess it's worth it. I can solve the problems around me. I can make it work. I will do something or the else.
Yeah,
Nothing starts till the time you don't dare to start it. Even a dream starts when you sleep.
yeah,
So everything needs to start with something. You wake up every morning, so your morning starts. But till the time you are sleeping, it's not even morning for you. You have to start it yourself. There can be so many reasons around you to hold you back. But you need to know what is your priority. If you think that this is the journey I want to take, go for it. In the last few years of working in the field of social services, I have seen problems do arise. People do get diverted, as you mentioned. There is diversions happening, there is distractions, there is so many things. There is abstractions as well.
Yeah.
But what kept me going? What even will keep me going? I know that for sure. I know my priority. I know my priority is to be there in the society, is to feel connected with the people. Am I ready to take my step for it? Am I ready to risk it all? Yes, I will do that, but in a sensible way. Being a rational being is actually very good. You can weight your interests, you can see what benefits you. And when you do that, and when you see that, okay, I am in a good position, it is worth it to go for it.
Yeah.
When you know that it's worth it, give it a try. I actually run a informal institution named Gyanalaya. I have 9 kids there.
All right.
And whenever we hold sessions, we talk. I always tell them, in one of the session, actually, I told them they are reading in class 3, 4, 5, 10. So in one of the session, I told them today's session's topic is PRY. Try.
Yeah.
And the session went off, it ended, and then few weeks later, one of my kids came up to me and said, I want to try to sing a song. You will make mistakes, but are mistakes worth it to hold yourself back? I guess no. It's worth it to try. And people sometimes think I'm very positive. How are you so positive? Why you are so optimistic? The sun rises every single time in the morning. Why will I not be optimistic? We all must be. There's always the sunshine there. And it is always about thinking what can be done in a better way. And that is all that we must keep in our mind. If nobody is petting your back, pet yourself up. Say that you are going to make it. Because every single mind out there is making it. Every morning you wake up because you know that you can. So do that. Go for it. And try. That's beautiful. It's worth it.
Absolutely. Again, I'm just trying to take as much as I can from the session. It's amazing to hear so much inspiring words. This is a kind of a very serious question. I feel like the nature is the best sphere to seek equality, but we often see there are comparatively fewer women, especially doing field research in areas related to environment. So, how do we encourage more equal participation in this particular sector? Be it social entrepreneurship, be it research field, all these things specifically related to environment or, sustainability.
Whenever the topic of equal participation comes in, the very thing that we still need to talk about it, that there is lack of equal participation itself, is a saddening reality of this very century. So we need to work on that. Obviously, we need to. Now, coming down to your question,
Yeah.
which is very important, that how they can be motivated enough to take up fields which are less explored by women. Recently, there actually was a historical picture that I have been seeing a lot, where there were a number of great scientists. It's a very old picture. I don't recall the exact, name of, but there were a number of scientists who did great, uh, discoveries, inventions, and in those all within like in that group of scientists. I just wanted to ask one thing. When I said the word scientist, what figure came in your mind?
People wearing white coats, working in a laboratory, trying to be more smart, something like that.
To be more specific, what gender, what
Oh yeah.
identity came to your
If
mind?
you're talking about identity, mostly male. It does not woman, of course.
Obviously. Um, in that picture, there was one lady in that group of scientists. There was one female scientist, one, but she was standing there boldly enough, taking inspiration is all that we need to do. As a woman, maybe I might be told that you can't do this, maybe, but we must believe in ourselves that they don't even know what we are capable of. One more thing, I already said
Yeah.
in while talking that people will pull you back, and that is very easy thing to do, but pulling yourself up is very, very important. And at the same time, one another aspect that I want to say that social entrepreneurs, the role that they can play in this field is by empowering the society so that they can voice themselves enough. If I have to say from what I am doing, so as I told you that I'm running a company that is welfare foundation company. Its main focus is welfare of the society. So the kids that I have the privilege of interacting, there are a number of girls in them too. So a small step. I know this is not something big, but yes, I am trying my best to inspire them. So how? I'm making them connect with women personalities who are there in the position where they want to be.
That's amazing.
So I'm inspiring them. You see that you saw this dream, that lady made it happen. And that is how, as an person working in the services, I am doing my best to do. We all can start in that way. Either you become the example
Yeah.
or you take inspiration from the examples. How to motivate now? How the government come here? They can come here actually. We need to have more speakers speaking for us, youth speakers speaking for us, female youth speakers speaking for us. As I already told another point, that if you're not connected to something, you cannot speak for it. If a male figure is speaking for me, that male figure has no idea what my body goes through every single month. Menstruation. Male don't go through menstruation. So you cannot explain the pain that I go through when I have my period cramps the way a woman can explain. We need to have speakers who can voice it there where it is needed. Become an inspiration or get the inspiration from the vast list of inspiration that is there. Again, being optimistic here because women have done it over time, just that we have not acknowledged them enough, but they have done it. I was attending one session that day, and it was a session where different pictures were flashed. Like, this is, can you recall who that person is? We were very immediate. Oh, that is that person, that personality who invented, yes, Alan Turing. Yeah, we know that. A picture of a lady came up.
Okay.
And we were asked, do you know who that person is? Nobody answered. But that was the lady who, during COVID-19, actually was working for the vaccine. And we had no idea. Some might have, but not all. Why? We are not acknowledging at the general level so much. We need to educate each one of us about everything that has happened, that can happen. And at an individual level, we can do that. Promoting, voicing, bringing in policies where women are involved greatly so that women gets the chance that, not chance actually, we don't need chances. We should have it. Like we can make it happen. We can grab it. And women are grabbing it. Even if they are not given, they are grabbing it. And I stand proudly with that. We are not asking for our rights. We have those rights. We simply just want everybody to accept it. That's all. So
Uh,
we need voices.
Absolutely, we do need voices, specifically voices from women that often unheard and it's not acknowledged. So it's time. It's time for the society, for the world to be more conscious about this. And otherwise, as a society, we won't be able to progress to greater levels. So yeah, we have talked enough about social entrepreneurship. So I would like to know more about how did your journey of social entrepreneurship started? Like, what was the thing that inspired you to be part of this journey? And you have achieved a lot of things, as you have mentioned. So we would be really delighted to know how actually your journey of social entrepreneurship started.
Uh, how my journey started. Well, I am very new to the journey, very new. Have been working for few years, but I'm very new to the journey of entrepreneurship myself as well. But I'm very excited for it. That's another thing. So how my journey started? It all needs to start with an inspiration, right? So will that be boring? I guess no. Inspirations are never boring.
Yeah.
So my inspiration was basically seeing my mother.
All right.
So when I was a kid, uh, in my locality, there have been a number of kids as well. My mate's kid, people working in different daily wage workers' kid, then doing end-to-end jobs and meeting their ends. Kids of the community who are not the way they should be privileged enough. They are not, but they are privileged in their own ways. However, and people from the sections that we know how we differentiate the society, which I personally don't like to. Therefore, I say people from all the sections, and I do not refer in any other way. I don't like that. So personal, that is something personal. So I saw my mother actually organizing events, bringing in kids, making them talk to each other, expanding their world. And I remember when I was in school, I remembered few of those kids coming to our house, and they are now well established, though they're doing a great job. They're in college, they passed out, coming and telling my mother that, Auntie, do you remember you organized that where we dance?
Yeah.
So, so that actually made sense to me. Culturally involving yourself as well is very important. Now,
Mhm.
people will say why it is important. What is there that enables any, like, culturally you will be very rich? Yeah, very good. Like, you are performing, dancing, singing, you're doing extracurricular activities, to be precise, the word.
Mm.
But it's going to give you a growth. But you know what? It enables you to break certain barriers. Barriers, as in build your confidence that is holding back. And you grow. While doing that, you grow. You interact with people, you grow. That made sense to me. That, okay, if we allow ourselves interact with each other, the moment we do so, our world expands. And if that opportunity is given to a child, they interacting from people to occupying positions where they can make a difference, real difference, a very big difference. If they interact with people like such, aren't they going to be inspired? Recently, my kids interacted with the security engineer. Why? Because my kids, they want to become graphic designers, software engineers. They saw an engineer speaking to them. They saw that the pathway they took. So all this inspired me. Started with my mother, but along the line, it was everybody around me who inspired me. And at the end, I took up the decision that yes, this is something I really want to do because this will keep my smile alive. And that is how it started. And that is how it's going to go ahead as well. Every day I get inspired. Every day my smile is there for the people. And I love to work for them.
Yeah,
And maybe that is how it started. And it will go on as well. Yes.
yeah, that's really inspiring to hear. I feel like, even I'm also really motivated from my mom, specifically the way she used to, growing up, seeing her involved in different kind of activities, specifically gardening and stuff. That is also some kind of a really great deal of inspiration. So yeah, now we are at the very end of this session. So I would like to ask you, would you give us, what would you like to say to all those future upcoming social entrepreneurship? uh, any kind of message that you'd like to give to all of them?
Message would be that you must start the journey.
Yeah,
The moment you start it, you will know. And if you really want the journey to be a lasting one, you are going to make it happen. The most important thing is that being an action taker. An action taker is not just somebody who takes up an issue and acts upon it, but an action taker is someone who takes up an issue, acts upon it, bringing in everyone, involving everyone in the process, because that issue might not just be revolving around you, but you will always find somebody being troubled by it at the same time. So
yeah,
build a community that you think is going to motivate you for your core purpose that you are choosing. Build a community, and within that community, you discuss what can be done in a more brighter, bigger way. And most importantly, think about something that is sustainable.
yeah,
Someone wise told me that having ideologies is beautiful, but they must be sustainable at the same time. So think about something that you believe in, that you connect at a personal level, that you think is worth the time that you are going to give. It's worth the smiles that you are going to see. And most importantly, it's worth the risks that you are going to take. Be an action taker. Don't hold yourself back, but just go for it. It's just this one lifetime you have. Go give it a try. It's worth it.
absolutely. So probably this is the particular end where we come to the very end. So yeah, ma'am, thank you again for such a wonderful uh, session it was. To we got to learn so many things, and when we reflect back all those things, it's just tells me that how if we look to a particular problem by a positive outlook, the solution is in front of us. So talking to you, it has become much more clear to me, and I'm pretty sure for the audience as well. So yeah, that was Taposhree Baruah. So at the very end, I would also like to mention that if anyone is interested who wants to be part of or wants to dwell into the social entrepreneur field, or take a course for it, they can contact ma'am by her social profiles. So ma'am, if you don't mind, could you just type it down on the message once, where
Ah,
your social folder handle? So
yes, I will be giving out my email
yeah, that will be great.
so it becomes easy.
Okay. Again, thank you, ma'am. It was amazing. Have a great day. So, yeah, this is Sabika Sana Ahmed signing off.
Thank you, Sabi. Thank you.